Chapter 501. Wait for me. Revenge. Di Jing frowned and shot Su Ming a glance. Su Ming's face fell when he heard what Blind Emperor said. Okay, I grant your wish. Di Jing nodded. Just as those words escaped his mouth, Di Jing waved his hand and released a restriction that covered a large space. And that space was a battlefield. As Di Jing waved his hand again, Blind Emperor and Su Ming were immediately pushed into the battlefield by an immaterial force. This is a special battlefield just for you two. After entering it, only one of you will be able to walk out alive while the other one has to die inside. Di Jing's voice echoed throughout the battlefield. Thank you so much, Blind Emperor said gratefully. Blind Emperor and Su Ming stood facing each other 100 feet apart. Damn you, blind man. Su Ming looked grim. He had worried that Di Jing would kill him directly, but now, it seemed that Di Jing wanted him to fight against Blind Emperor. Since it was a battle of life and death, Su Ming had to kill Blind Emperor in order to survive. .bg container 63275cc1f display, flex direction, column align items, center justify content, center Z index, 214-748-3647. Important. Blind Emperor was trembling from being so excited. I've been waiting for this moment for so long. Su Ming, you betrayed our master. When he was still alive, he told me to kill you the moment I met you. Now, 1,000 years have passed and I'm on my deathbed, but finally, I've gotten the chance to accomplish Master's wish. I'll be proud when I see him in heaven. Blind guy, don't be so stubborn as you're already at death's door, Su Ming said coldly. At death's door? Blind Emperor. Upon hearing the words, Jian Wushuang finally understood that Blind Emperor was on his way to heaven. No wonder Di Jing said that whether or not he saved Blind Emperor, it would not change anything. This was a rare chance for Blind Emperor to get revenge for the Sword Ancestor. Go to hell. With no more words, Blind Emperor made his move. Su Ming went over to the Emperor after taking a breath. If Blind Emperor was not dying, Su Ming would not have agreed to have a tough fight with him because his illusory sword principle would be overcome by Blind Emperor's heart sword principle. However, he was now involved in the battle and had to fight until one of them was dead. One would live, one would die. Blind guy, I will send you to hell. Su Ming was going to go all out in the fight. Soon after, the two men were engaged in a fierce battle. Outside the battlefield, the experts watched the fighting quietly. None of them dared to or could interfere in it. Blood Bladesman and Dongming King stood in silence, well behaved. Half a day later, the battle was settled. Ha 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 ha, blind guy, how could you think that you can kill me? Su Ming laughed crazily in the center of the battlefield, his face twisted, his eyes redder was wild with great joy. I have to thank you, really. I've been stuck in this realm for 1,000 years, and now, thanks to this battle, I've made a breakthrough. Su Ming clenched his fists. The onlookers could feel an overwhelming aura emanating from Hyman Aura that was much more powerful than someone in the cloud realm could have. No, this is not real. Blind Emperor trembled, unwilling to give up. He had a bloody hole left by a long sword on his chest. His breath was dying out. Master, I'm so sorry that I didn't kill him. Blind Emperor smiled sadly as his body fell to the ground. Watching this scene, the onlookers let out sighs of pity. Su Ming made a breakthrough. At such a critical moment, he managed to break through his realm. What a pity! Blind Emperor had overpowered Su Ming with his heart sword principle and absolutely had the upper hand. Who would have thought that Su Ming could break through his realm at the last moment? Everyone had witnessed Su Ming's breakthrough and how he had become as powerful as the three ancestors, Blood Bladesman, and Bargu Cave Master. That was also why Su Ming had survived and Blind Emperor had been killed. It's a pity. Seeing the result of the battle, Di Jing could not help shaking his head. He then looked toward Jian Wushuang. Boy, it's time to leave. Jian Wushuang clenched his hands tightly, his face flushed red, his teeth chattering. He gazed at the laughing Su Ming. I know you're disappointed, but you have to put your feelings away now. Someday, when you're powerful enough to get revenge, you can make those who hurt you pay you back whatever you want. Di Jing tried to comfort Jian Wushuang. Okay. Jian Wushuang nodded and his eyes became red. On this day, he and his father had been driven to the verge of despair, and Blind Emperor had even lost his life. Without Di Jing, all of them would have already died. He had to get his revenge someday. Di Jing waved his hand and cut the void open, revealing a mysterious, huge wormhole. Go, Di Jing said to Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang walked forward toward the wormhole, but suddenly, he stopped and turned back to look at Su Ming and the other experts. There was a dead silence as everyone stared back at Jian Wushuang. They could see a fierce and chilling killing intent in his eyes. Su Ming, I'll never forget what you've done today. And all of you with him. Someday, when I come back, no matter if you're in heaven or hell, I'll kill you all. Wait for me. Wait for me. Jian Wushuang's last sentence kept swirling around in the experts' minds. Buzz. With that sound, Jian Wushuang stepped into the wormhole and disappeared in the next moment as if he had been swallowed. What remained was his voice full of hatred resounding through the area. As Su Ming, the three ancestors, Blood Bladesman, and all the other experts watched Jian Wushuang leave, anxiety was aroused in their hearts. Maybe some years later, they would have to pay him back with blood for what they had done today. Chapter 502, The Wu Yang Tribe. There were numerous plane worlds in the ancient world. The world with the divine land at its center was just one of those plane worlds. Outside the divine land, there were a large number of places with a considerable number of warriors, who were as powerful as those in the divine land or even more powerful than them. The monster continent was one of those places and was more vast than the divine land. A purple crescent moon hung high in the sky, and the world was bathed in its blurry moonlight. In a desolate land, the void was suddenly cut open, and from the crack, a figure shot out, who eventually fell to the ground battered and exhausted. That figure was Jian Wushuang, and after he crashed to the ground, he found the pain inside him even more unbearable. My body! Jian Wushuang's face flushed red in great pain. When he had tried to defeat Su Ming, he displayed the third movement of the soul-devouring secret skill. That movement had put too heavy a burden on his body. In addition to that, he had been severely crushed by the space inside the wormhole, which made his wound even worse. As a result, he passed out not long after falling to the ground. DBG container 63275 CC1F display, flex direction, column align items, center justify content, center Z index, 214-748-3647. Important the next morning hurry. Uncle Dragon must be waiting for us. He will blame us for being late. Brother Ching Hu, wait for me. Haha, let's see who will be the first one to get to Uncle Dragon. A group of teenagers was running quickly and cheerfully. There were 7 of them in total. The older ones were 14 or 15 years old, while the younger ones were 8 or 9. Children as they were, they still moved so fast that they could cross hundreds of meters in the blink of an eye. Among them, a round-faced girl with a ponytail followed behind the boys. She was only 8 and was the youngest one. Suddenly, the girl stopped running, attracted by someone lying off to the side. Little you, what are you doing? An older boy who wore an animal skin turned back toward the girl. Brother Ching Hu, look, there is someone lying on the ground, the girl said to him. Heh. The boy came over and said, he's alive, but it looks like he is badly wounded. Brother Ching Hu, we must save him, the girl suggested. Okay. The boy, Ching Hu, nodded. He turned to the other boys who had gathered around, saying, you guys go to see Uncle Dragon yourselves. Little you and I have to go back now. Please apologize for us to Uncle Dragon. Sure, they replied to him. Then, Ching Hu said, little you, let's take him home. The girl nodded. She walked over to Jian Wushuang and held him over her head by his back with both hands. Though Jian Wushuang was not strongly built, he was a tall and robust adult, weighing over 70 kilograms. However, the girl held him up without any effort. Let's go. Ching Hu called out. The girl immediately started running while carrying Jian Wushuang. The people in the divine land would have been stunned beyond words if they had witnessed this scene. When Jian Wushuang finally regained consciousness, 2 days had passed. He woke up to find himself in a camp with a round-faced girl about 8 or 9 years old looking at him. Upon seeing Jian Wushuang open his eyes, the girl beamed and cried out, "Dad, he's woken up." A burly man who was making tea in the center of the camp immediately walked over to them. "Brother, you've finally woken up." The burly man spoke gently even though he looked rough. Jian Wushuang's eyes narrowed at the sight of the man. He is not only a lord, but a superior lord, and may even be more powerful than that. Jian Wushuang thought. He had reached that conclusion because he could feel the man's aura constricting him. "Where am I?" Jian Wushuang asked while looking around. "You're in the Wu Yang tribe, and I'm the leader of this place. You can call me Wu Yuan, and she is my daughter, Wu Yu," the burly man answered. "2 days ago, my daughter found you on the back of our mountain and brought you here." Jian Wushuang took a look at the girl. A bit fat but lovely, the girl blinked her large dark eyes. Seeing Jian Wushuang stare at her, she gave him a smile. "Thank you so much for saving my life," Jian Wushuang said gratefully. "You're welcome. We're both human beings and should help each other." Wu Yuan smiled. "By the way, what's your name, brother? Which tribe are you from?" "Tribe?" Jian Wushuang then realized that he was in a place that had many tribes. "I'm Jian Wushuang." He told them his real name. Since he was no longer in the divine land, there was no need to conceal his name from others. But Jian Wushuang decided to make up a story. "My tribe was extinguished by other tribes." In his opinion, being that this place consisted of tribes, it would not be a surprise to learn that a tribe had fallen in a conflict with another one. But to Jian Wushuang's surprise, Wu Yuan looked grave when hearing this answer. He could see anger in the man's eyes. The man shouted, "Bastards! How can those tribes still fight against each other for their own benefits while we human beings are oppressed by demonic beasts?" Jian Wushuang was stumped for words. Human beings are oppressed by demonic beasts. What demonic beasts? Jian Wushuang was confused. "Chieftain! Chieftain!" Suddenly, someone shouted from outside. Wu Yuan regained his previous manner. He looked at Jian Wushuang and said, "Brother, you're seriously wounded and need a good rest. You can stay here for a while. Just tell Yua what you need. I've got to go now." After saying this, Wu Yuan walked out of the camp. Chapter 503, A Girl of Unusual Strength. Jian Wushuang and Wu Yu were the only ones remaining in the camp. He tried to get out of bed, but he could feel a great pain the moment that he moved. Helplessly, he lay his back against a pillar, which was used to support the camp, as he looked toward Wu Yu. "Can I call you Big Brother Wushuang?" Wu Yu blinked her eyes and then stared at Jian Wushuang. "Big Brother Wushuang, Dad said that you shouldn't move because you're badly injured." Jian Wushuang smiled at her and replied, "Little Yu, was it you who found me in back of the mountain and brought me here?" "Yes." Wu Yu nodded heavily. "And you did it on your own?" Jian Wushuang asked with doubt. "Of course." Wu Yu nodded again. Jian Wushuang looked incredulous upon hearing her words. He could not believe that a girl of 8 had carried him such a distance all on her own. It required a lot of strength to do that. .bg container 63275 CC1F display, flex direction, column align items, center justify content, center Z index, 214-748-3647. Important as he could not find any sign of spiritual power on the girl, he thought that it was impossible for her, a non-warrior, to have done that on her own. If he knew that the girl had taken him home by holding him up over her head, he would have found it even harder to believe. "Big Brother Wushuang, don't look down on me. I have a lot of strength. Although I'm only 8, those who are a bit older than me might not match me in strength," Wu Yu said proudly. "Really?" Jian Wushuang held out his hand and said, "Little Yu, try to hit me on my hand." "Big Brother Wushuang, you're injured. Are you sure that you want me to try it?" Wu Yu was hesitant to hit him. "Just try your best," Jian Wushuang answered. Wu Yu immediately clenched her fist and casually punched toward Jian Wushuang's hand. The fist caused wind to flow through the air, and when it fell on Jian Wushuang's hand, it made him shake. "Big brother Wushuang, are you okay?" Wu Yu asked with concern. "It's..." Jian Wushuang was amazed. He could tell there had to be thousands of pounds of strength behind what was merely a punch. The punch had not done any harm to him despite him being seriously injured, but it was still hard for him to believe that an 8-year-old girl could produce it. Monster! Jian Wushuang was rocked inside and out. He had met some people who were gifted with unusual strength in the divine land, like Xue Luo, but none of them could obtain such strength by 8. What amazed Jian Wushuang more was that there were others in the tribe besides Wu Yu that had such unusual strength. "Little Yu, you just said that some of your big brothers might not match you in strength. Would I be correct in understanding that there might be someone more powerful than you?" asked Jian Wushuang. "Yes, you're right." Wu Yu nodded. "In our tribe, I'm peerless at my age, but there are indeed some brothers with more strength than me. The best among them is Brother Qing Hu. He is 15 now. When he was 8, he could exert tens of thousands of pounds of strength. I'm no match for him at the same age." Exerting a strength of tens of thousands of pounds at only 8. Jian Wushuang was really astonished beyond words. Suddenly, a child's voice reached Jian Wushuang's ears, and then he saw a boy come in. Little Yu, the boy shouted excitedly to Wu Yu, "Brother Qing who is practicing his spear skills. If you don't hurry, I'll leave you behind to watch him practice." After saying this, the boy ran out of the camp quickly. "Brother Qing who is practicing his spear skills." Wu Yu became visibly excited. She said to Jian Wushuang, "Big brother Wushuang, I'll leave you for a while. If you need me, just call me. I'll be nearby and won't miss your voice." The girl left the camp in a hurry. Seeing this, Jian Wushuang forced a smile. Brother Qing Hu? The boy who could exert a strength of tens of thousands of pounds at 8. He was quite interested in the boy's strength, so he ignored the pain in his body and struggled to go outside. He left the camp and lay against the front door, his eyes fixed on a group of boys and girls in a cleared space. The boys and girls were intently watching another boy display spear skills. The boy seemed to be 14 or 15. For such a young age, he was rather tall and strong, simply wearing an animal skin. His exposed skin shone in the sunlight, making him look even wilder. With a long spear in hand, even though his moves might have been displayed in a clumsy manner, Jian Wushuang could see a mighty power behind them. He is at the peak of the Yang Void realm. Jian Wushuang squinted at the boy with amazement rising in his heart. In the divine land, it was not possible to see someone reach the peak of the Yang Void realm at only 15. Even the talented Lin Lan, Jian Wushuang's discipline, had only been able to do it at 18. And that was why Jian Wushuang was so surprised. He had just arrived in this world and had immediately met this highly gifted boy. What a strong body and mighty power! Jian Wushuang could see how the boy crushed the void with his spear, and he could hear exploding sounds one after another. He could tell that the boy was as powerful as the lords in the divine land. Jian Wushuang looked around and narrowed his eyes. Besides him, all the other boys and girls here also have strong bodies. What kind of place am I in? Chapter 504, The Monster Continent. In the early morning of the third day after Jian Wushuang woke up, Wu Yuan came to visit the young man. In the tent, "Little brother Wushuang, you look good. You're getting better, right?" Wu Yuan stood in front of the young man. "Thanks to little Yu's care, I'll make a full recovery soon," Jian Wushuang said. "Ha ha, that's good. I've already told the other elders that you will join the guard, so we will be teammates," Wu Yuan said with a smile. Jian Wushuang also broke into a smile. Jian Wushuang had found that the people here were warm and friendly, and Wu Yuan had invited him to join the guard of Wu Yang tribe the day before yesterday. "Father, elder brother Qing who said you would go out with Uncle Dragon?" Wu Yu asked while looking at his father. "Yep." Wu Yuan nodded. "We received news that a monster spy was in the nearby Green Hillock tribe, but they found out too late and he escaped. So, the leaders from the nearby tribes will lead their people through the surrounding area in hopes that they can find and kill him." A surge of killing intent gushed from his eyes. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang was lost in thought. WBG container 63275 CC1F display, flex direction, column align items, center justify content, center Z index, 214-748-3647. Important, he had learned a bit about this world after spending 3 days in this tribe. He knew it was called the Monster Continent. This world was different from those plain worlds, such as the Divine Land and the Ancient World, because it was famous for its demonic beasts. The Monster Continent was much larger than the Divine Land. Most of the territory was occupied by demonic beasts, so there was less than 10% of the territory left for human warriors to settle in. Demonic beasts and human warriors were born to be deadly enemies. The monster groups, who possessed 90% of the territory, were more powerful than the human warriors, so they desired to destroy all the humans and conquer the entire continent, turning it into a paradise for demonic beasts. The humans tried their best to resist and even built the Monster Exterminating League. It consisted of the supreme commanders from human tribes. But, with only this amount of strength, the humans could barely guard the last 10% of the territory. The monsters realized that they were unable to overthrow the humans by brute force, so they sent numerous monster spies and planned to destroy them from the inside. These monster spies looked the same as human warriors, and only monster discriminators could tell whether they were human beings or monsters. Once a monster spy was found, human warriors would kill him without showing any mercy. "Father, be careful," Wu Yu said. "Don't worry, I'm powerful." After saying that, Wu Yuan left. Looking at Wu Yuan's back, Jian Wushuang nodded secretly. Wu Yuan was powerful indeed. He was at the Sixth Cloud Realm, which was equivalent to the level of superior lords from the Divine Land. However, human warriors from the Monster Continent were more powerful than warriors from the Divine Land. Cultivating in the Monster Continent was superior to that in the Divine Land. Furthermore, as they were born to fight demonic beasts, human warriors had a hint of demonic beast bloodlines. Therefore, human warriors were born strong and more powerful than warriors from the Divine Land. Among the lords Jian Wushuang had met so far, Black Yuan Lord's body was considered to be extremely heaven-defying, but in the Monster Continent, every lord was stronger than Black Yuan Lord. As the tribe leader, Wu Yuan's body was even more terrifying. The experts from the Divine Land are nothing when compared to the experts from the Monster Continent. Jian Wushuang thought. He also knew that the Wu Yang tribe was one of the countless ordinary tribes. There were many tribes more powerful than the Wu Yang tribe. The Wu Yang tribe had more than 10,000 clansmen. They all started cultivating at 12 years old, but they improved faster than warriors from the Divine Land. In a normal case, even the most untalented clansman would be able to reach the primordial gold core realm. Even the ordinary ones would reach the yin-yang void realm at the age of 40 or 50. The more powerful would reach divine transcendence. Even the weakest human warriors who reached divine transcendence could make it to the pinnacle of the saint realm. With their powerful bodies, their battle strength was stage 2 or even stage 3. Therefore, the warriors from the Monster Continent were more powerful than the Divine Land. An ordinary tribe like the Wu Yang tribe had hundreds of saint realm experts and 6 lords. There were countless tribes like that, so the number of such powerful experts among the entire human population was amazing. It was said that there were 33 temple masters in the Monster Exterminating League. The 33 temple masters held supreme positions among the humans. Jian Wushuang estimated that those temple masters might have broken through the cloud realm, which would make them as strong as the 3 ancestors. If that was true, it was really terrifying, because they could still be so powerful under the oppression of the demonic beasts. The sun sank and the night approached. In the tent, Jian Wushuang sat with his legs crossed as he took out a beige elixir and ate it. "This vitality elixir is nice. I thought that it will take me 10 days or half a month to recover, but I will have recovered in 2 days at most because of this vitality elixir," Jian Wushuang said with a smile. The vitality elixir was a superior second-grade pill. Jian Wushuang found a dozen elixirs in Marquis Nanu's interspatial ring. He had been taking them these last few days, and they were really helpful for his recovery. At this moment, an uproar rose outside the tent. "What's happening?" Jian Wushuang was surprised and instantly walked out. Chapter 505, a demonic beast. Jian Wushuang saw numerous clansmen swarm into the drill ground. Big brother Wushuang, Wu Yu said while walking over with Qing Hu. Little Yu, Qing Hu, what happened? Jian Wushuang asked with a tinge of doubt. My father caught a monster spy. They're in the drill ground now. Everyone is going to take a look, Wu Yu replied with excitement. A monster spy. Jian Wushuang was surprised and showed some interest in it. He wanted to know what the real overlords in the monster continent looked like. Go! Let's follow them. Jian Wushuang, Qing Hu, and Wu Yu headed for the drill ground. The huge drill ground was crowded with numerous clansmen. Jian Wushuang and his two companions elbowed their way and appeared at the front of the crowd. He is the monster spy. BG container 63275C1F display. Flex direction. Column align items. Center justify content. Center Z index. 214-748-3647. Important. Jian Wushuang saw a black-haired man who was locked in an iron cage at the center of the drill ground. The black-haired man was 2 meters tall. Except for being a bit more muscular, there was no difference between this black-haired man and a human warrior. If he had not been clear about this black-haired man's identity, Jian Wushuang would be unable to recognize this black-haired man as a demonic beast. Is he really a demonic beast? Jian Wushuang could not help feeling doubt. Most of the clansmen were also astonished. They lived in the tribe and most of them had never fought with a demonic beast, so it was no wonder that they did not believe it. The black-haired man was roaring crazily inside the cage. I'm a clansman from Green Hillock tribe. Why did you arrest me? Why? Let me go. Otherwise, when our leader finds out, he will seek justice for me. The black-haired man got angry as if he felt aggrieved. You are still being tight-lipped about it even now. Wu Yuan and the other elders gathered on the platform while staring coldly at the black-haired man. Go invite Elder Water, Wu Yuan ordered. We already have. He should arrive soon, an elder replied. Okay. Wu Yuan nodded. He looked over at the black-haired man and said, Don't worry. My Wu Yang tribe is always fair. We never do any human being an injustice. If we confirm that you are not a monster spy, I'll personally send you back and even apologize to your leader. But if you're a monster spy, you'll die without a doubt. His tone was filled with killing intent. Those clansmen also wore a cold look. They had rarely met a demonic beast. However, since they were born in the monster continent, their bones had been infused with hatred towards demonic beasts. Demonic beasts and human warriors were deadly enemies. Demonic beast desired to extinguish the humans while the latter had been fighting for more living space. If a monster spy was caught in the human territory, he would be killed without a doubt. The black-haired man, who felt himself being surrounded by killing intent, had a grim expression on his face, but he started to panic in his heart. After a while, an elder with long eyebrows, who was holding a cane, walked over. Elder Water. The clansmen present, including Wu Yuan, bowed to him. After all, this elder had a high status in the Wu Yang tribe and he was the only monster discriminator in the entire tribe. Only monster discriminators were able to distinguish demonic beasts from human warriors, so even though a monster discriminator was weak, he was still respected. Elder Water, please help us, Wu Yuan said to Elder Water. Okay. Elder Water nodded slightly and looked at the black-haired man with his turbid vision. Then a strange light flashed in his eyes. Monster discriminator. The black-haired man paled because he knew he could not argue his case anymore. However, he did not feel hopeless. He started to look around and eventually fixed his eyes on Wu Yu. Instantly, he made up his mind. Boom! An overwhelming aura radiated from the black-haired man and his eyes became red. He violently slapped the iron cage. The cage was made of special materials, so it was strong enough to hold a Saint Realm human or a demonic beast. However, judging from his aura, the black-haired man had reached the Cloud Realm. Therefore, he easily broke the cage into pieces. Oh, no! Wu Yuan and other elders were shocked. A Cloud Realm demonic beast. Arsehole, he had been hiding his strength and aura. Damn it! It happened so fast and it was outside of their expectations. They had received the news that the monster spy was in the Saint Realm, and they also confirm it because the black-haired man was unable to resist when they caught him, so they locked him in a cage. In a normal case, a Saint Realm human being or demonic beast would be unable to break the cage. They did not expect the black-haired man had been hiding his strength and that he was not in the Saint Realm, but a Cloud Realm demonic beast. At this moment, the black-haired man leaped toward the crowd at an amazing speed that left Wu Yuan and the other elders unable to block him in time. Hua! A bloodlight dashed out and moved toward where Jian Wushuang, Wu Yu, and Qing Hu stood. The only way I can survive is to hold this girl hostage. That will provide me with an opportunity to leave. The black-haired man stared at Wu Yu. Wu Yu and Qing Hu turned pale. Qing Hu immediately took out his long spear and tried to block the attack. However, a figure blocked him and Wu Yu before he was even able to make his move. That person was none other than Jian Wushuang.